Apologies for the technical difficulty with the camera. Should be ready to go now as LA Valley in their green jerseys, Vegas gold helmets, and pants, kicking it from left to right. It's a low kick on the ground. Skips a couple times, fielded at the 15. As Michael Francis on the return. Francis in between the hash marks takes it to about the 26. So an 11-yard return for Michael Francis out of Milledgeville, Georgia. And Santa Barbara will have decent field position at their 26 as we start.
And as we take the field here for Santa Barbara, you're going to want to keep an eye on two key players. Number one, their quarterback, Gerald Hickson, or Jerry Hickson, as he's been known to go by, number 9. He's got 951 yards on the season, has been one of the better quarterbacks in the American Pacific Conference, and especially the running game led by Manny Nwosu, number 21.
And Nwosu, 953 yards this season. He's in the backfield on first down, but they will throw to the right side. And it is complete to Reese Perez. Now, Reese Perez with just his 10th reception of the season. And that one good to the 35. It's a pickup of about 7. And that'll bring up second down and a short 3.
And they're moving quickly here.
Yeah, no huddle offense to start. So it's Hickson out of the gun, high snap over his head, and Hickson just going to have to fall on it at the 25. So good presence of mind there, not try to do too much, just make sure you get the ball back before you worry about anything else. LA Valley quickly swarming in on the football. Hickson able to fall on it. That'll back them up to the 25. It'll be third and a long 13 following the loss of 10.
No, these are going to be the kind of plays that explain why these teams are in the basement right now. And if you're LA Valley, this is your chance to capitalize early in the game because they have struggled all season long trying to climb their way out of early deficits.
Yeah, LA Valley has allowed 20 points a game, although, to be fair, they haven't had a whole lot of help from their offense. Third and 13 for Santa Barbara from their 25. They'll go conservative, keep it on the ground. Nwosu to the left side picks up only 1. Need a 13, and out comes the punting unit for Santa Barbara. Good job by the LA Valley defense to start, forcing the 3 and out.
This is why the coaches preach time and time again forever. Negative plays and penalties kill drives. There we saw the bad snap that negated that great start by the Vaqueros.
Cody Haynes set to punt it away for Santa Barbara. 34-yard average this season. Long is 58. It's a low snap, but Haynes able to handle it. Kicks it high in the air, spiraling. Good hang time. Fielded at the 36. It is Jeremiah Lorick. And Lorick tries to run it straight ahead. Only picks up a few before the swarm of defenders came in, brought him down. It's a return of 3.
Solid coverage there by the Vaqueros. Lorick just really didn't have anywhere to go, couldn't make up his mind. But another low snap. This might be something we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the game, Aaron.
Yeah, they've had some issues throughout the season. Santa Barbara, their snapper is, you can see number 60 on your screen, Wyatt Gardner. It's a sophomore out of Smonohamish, Washington. Now LA Valley will begin at their 39. 2 minutes gone by. Santa Barbara 3 and out. LA Valley going to work at their 39. Sebastiano, the quarterback, getting the start tonight. Running back on each side of him, Dawson Schick standing behind him, and Schick with 2 fullbacks blocking carries to the right side ahead of the 40 and taken down around the ankles at the 43. Looked like it was
Dawson Schick with the carry. Just off that right tackle there.
Yeah, Devin Hallier brought him down, number 85. On your screen. After 5 yards for Schick on first down, it'll be 2nd and 5. LA Valley from their 44. 3 men in the backfield again. Receiver on each side. Sebastiano looking downfield, has time to throw. Nobody open. Tucks to the right arm, runs straight ahead, and picks up a few to the 46. 2-yard gain for Sebastiano. On the second down scramble, it'll be 3rd down and a manageable 3. And for LA Valley, who is only 18% on 3rd downs this season, 3rd and 3, has to feel pretty good.
Oh, 3rd and 3 is key for them because they have struggled all year, and last week they went only 27% on 3rd down.
Now, LA Valley 3rd and 3 from their 46, and offsides goes Santa Barbara. Was he drawn? It was Lucas Oligat, the linebacker, freshman out of Gilroy, California.
That's one way to do it. If you're LA Valley, don't have to run a play, just draw them off sides.
Well, LA Valley catches a break there. As we've mentioned, they've had all kinds of problems on third down, but they get it the easy way. Santa Barbara jumping off sides, and the Monarchs are now into Santa Barbara territory. 1st and 10 at the Santa Barbara 49. No score, 3 minutes in. Sebastiano in the gun, 3 men in the backfield. Receiver to each side. Handoff left side and taken to the 46.
And you know, Aaron, I would keep an eye out when they're coming out with this crowded backfield. They're setting themselves up for this triple option look. That means that we could have the quarterback run, we could have either of the backs run, and any direction also sets up the pitch. I think that's what they're building up to.
Yeah, the handoff was to Shante Smith, good for 3 yards. He's in the backfield again. Same formation. Jason Vandiver trying to mix things up a bit from the last few weeks when they've scored a total of 35 points over the last 4 games. Smith on a handoff gets a block right side, 45 numbers at the 40, gets to the sidelines at the 32. And it took a couple of Santa Barbara players to bring him down. It was Houston Little coming in from the secondary, finally able to force Smith out of bounds, but good for the first down.
Houston Little's been all over the field this year for the Vaqueros. He's got 66 total tackles. He's averaging 7.3 a game, which is good for 5th in the American Pacific Conference.
First down, LA Valley at the 33 of Santa Barbara. No score, just a few minutes in. Smith standing behind Sebastiano, waiting for that shotgun snap. Faison Knight, the receiver, on the near side of the field. Looks like Devin Hextall on the far side. Sebastiano, time to throw, throws near side and incomplete over the head of Faison Knight. Double coverage on the play. Closest man to him was Russell Anholm in the secondary, big 6'3" cornerback on the play.
Well, just the timing was not quite there with Knight. Sebastiano released the ball too quickly. Knight turns around. It's over the sideline, past his head. Nothing they can do.
And accuracy has been a problem for Sebastiano, just 49% completion rate on the season. 2nd and 10, LA Valley. No score, and Monarchs at the 33 of Santa Barbara. Same formation, which they have stuck with this entire drive. Fake the handoff. Sebastiano rolling left on the play action, throws to the sidelines and into the ground. It was incomplete and dropped about 5 yards in front of Matthew Mattingly.
Well, you know, Aaron, all I have to say is this is what happens when you run 4 quarterbacks all the time, because no one gets a chance to really build up their repertoire with the receivers. No one gets comfortable, and we're seeing that they can't have an efficient passing game here.
Right, especially on a play like that, on that particular route where the timing is so important. Sebastiano has to be comfortable with when Mattingly's going to turn around, come back to the football, and Mattingly has to have an idea of when that ball is going to arrive so he can time his route. And it just wasn't there on that play. 3rd and 10, LA Valley from the Santa Barbara 33. Sebastiano chased out of the pocket, rolling left, fires into the end zone, and incomplete over the head of Justin Jacobs.
He actually had Jacobs open in the end zone on that beautiful corner route. But I think Sebastiano, well, he felt the pressure. He was being chased by number 15, Isaac Brown, the big 6'3", 225-pound linebacker for the Vaqueros.
Houston Little in the end zone as well, giving him some help. So 4th and 10, decision time for LA Valley, and they will leave the offense on the field. This is too long a field goal, would be 50 yards, and LA Valley just 2 for 5 on field goals on the season, so seems like an obvious choice. Leave the offense on the field. 4th and 10 from the enemy 33. Sebastiano standing in the pocket. Flags come out. Nobody open. Tucks with the right arm, runs, has the first down inside the 20, cuts right side inside the 10. Sebastiano on his feet at the numbers, finally brought down at the 6. It's a 27-yard first down run for Sebastiano, but it's all for naught. That flag is back on the field behind the line of scrimmage, and our referee, Max Hernandez, has signaled it's holding against LA Valley.
Oh, that's pretty much what it's always going to be when you see the flag thrown in the backfield. You can just count offensive holding, and that's the struggle there, because as you mentioned earlier, before we started the broadcast, actually, we believe the reason they're going with Sebastiano is for that scrambling ability that we just saw, the fact that he can be mobile, and the passing game wasn't getting it done anyway. But when the line holds, well, that's a moot point.
So LA Valley went for it on 4th and 10. They will send the punting unit out for 4th and 20. It's Juan Quezada kicked this one away. It is high. It is inside the 10-yard line, and fair catch called for at the 7. So a 36-yard punt, no return. And Juan Quezada gets the job done. It's Quezada for the 9th time this season has pinned an opponent inside the 20-yard line. So Quezada has been one of the few bright spots for the Monarchs over this losing streak.
Well, the Monarchs, they have that strong defense, and they also have that strong special teams, going back to head coach Matt White being the special teams coordinator for all those years.
So Santa Barbara went 3 and out on their opening drive. We'll get a second crack at it starting at their 8-yard line. No score, 5.5 minutes in. It'll be Hickson out of the gun with Nwosu to his left. They fake the handoff, then dump it off short on the left side. It is caught and ran up to about the 17, enough for a first down. Receiver on the play, Gavin Casey. Freshman standing at just 5'9" out of Las Vegas, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for in speed.
Always helps when you have those big receivers like Donald Lambert springing the blocks for you on the edge, too.
Now 1st and 10, Santa Barbara from the 19. They'll keep it on the ground with Nwosu. Nwosu looking for an opening on the right side, never materializes. He's brought down at the line of scrimmage. A couple of Monarchs in the area, including Tyree Thompson, to make the tackle. Thompson.
Well, so far they're keeping Nwosu bottled up.
This season.
2 carries for 2 yards early on in this game.
So Nwosu's production has fallen off. He had a 5-game streak early in the year where he ran over 100 in each of them, but he's not put up nearly the same production over the last 3 games. 2nd and 9, Santa Barbara from their 20. They'll keep it on the ground. Nwosu this time running left side and just cuts over towards the sidelines and never really gets it going vertically. So he was chased out of bounds. A couple of Monarchs there to push him out, including Taylor Manuel, and had some assistance from Najee Morrison in the secondary as well.
Nwosu, I'm surprised he's coming out and he's looking a little bit hesitant. You have to wonder if maybe he's a little bit banged up because he's not enjoying, it doesn't look like he's enjoying playing football right now. He's kind of just protecting himself.
Well, he starts in the slot receiver position on the left side. They'll move him back to the right side of Hickson. Waiting a shotgun snap, 3rd and 7. Santa Barbara from their 23. Hickson, time to throw. Throws right side near the first down marker. It's caught close to the 30. And this is going to depend on the spot. It was caught by Donald Lambert. And waiting for Max Hernandez and company to spot the football. And now I think he has it.
Oh, well, I'm pleasantly surprised there. He had the spot. He had it on the catch, and he was thrown back.
Yeah, so Lambert has been the biggest deep ball threat for Santa Barbara this season. This time getting it done in the short game. Only needed 7, and that's what he got. Hickson out of the gun, 1st and 10 from his 30. No score. Halfway through our first quarter.
About to get a false start here on the Vaqueros. And this has been such an early theme for them, Aaron, as they're shooting themselves in the foot. They have the penalty here to make it now 1st and 15 on the previous drive. After they get that quick pickup on 1st down, they have the snap over the head.
Well, 1st and 15 after the false start, and Hickson, quick throw over the middle, and incomplete. He was looking for Seth Fletcher. Downfield out of Scott Valley, California.
And Krishan Frazier, number 49, I believe he's the one that nearly came up with that pick. He just couldn't quite get his hands around it, and that is why they say that's why they play defense.
So 3rd down and a 2nd down, correction, and a long 15. Santa Barbara from their 25. Hickson being chased by Jeremy Reichner, dumps it off short to Nwosu in the flat, and Nwosu finds a running lane, takes it to the 29, cutting along the left side. Gain of only 4, though, and it's going to be a 3rd down and a long 11 for Santa Barbara.
Excellent defense there for LA Valley. On a screen pass, if you're the defensive line, as soon as you realize they're allowing you up the field on that screen, you want to crash back to the line of scrimmage so that way there isn't that space. Reichner, number 99, he pushed up the field to create the pressure on the quarterback. Everyone else dropped back.
Santa Barbara 32% on 3rd downs this season, 3rd and 11 from their 29. Hickson under pressure, chased out of the pocket, and then brought down from behind, sacked on the blind side. Taylor Manuel was there, and it looked like he had some help. Tyree Thompson in the area as well. As LA Valley comes up with a huge sack on third down, and that will send the punting unit out for Santa Barbara.
Oh, I saw Sia Green, but I saw Taylor Manuel there first. And that goes back, Aaron, again, that penalty on first down after picking up the first on the previous set of downs, well, that set them back, and now they're punting again.
Defense has done a great job, but you can only expect them to handle
Santa Barbara, well, punted away. Cody Haynes standing at his 15, and that one is nearly blocked. And LA Valley will let it bounce at the 40. Faison Knight just gets out of the way.
Well, that's just a mistake by Faison Knight. You have to field that ball.
And look how far that rolled at the 17, 16-yard line, it looks like.
I would say it looks like
punt.
It hit the turf around the 30-yard line. He just spotted the defense 13 yards.
And nearly matches Haynes' long of the season, which was 58 coming into tonight.
Well, as we know with the Monarchs' offensive struggles, you really have to take advantage in all three phases of the game to set up your offense and put them in a position to succeed. The special team's not getting it done so far.
Second crack at it offensively for LA Valley. And they will begin inside the 20 at the 16-yard line. 5:49 to go first quarter, no score. Sebastiano out of the gun, gives it away to Dawson Schick standing in the backfield, and Schick looking for room on the left side, only gets back to the line of scrimmage. He was driven back about 3 or 4 yards, but forward progress will put it at the 16, no gain on the play.
I think that's the first time we've seen Schick since the very first play of the game.
Yeah, Schick started in the backfield, then they went with Shante Smith the rest of the drive. It eventually stalled, and after a holding penalty made it 4th and 20, LA Valley had to punt it away. So 5:20 and counting, first quarter, no score, 2nd and 10 for the Monarchs at their 16. And Schick is in the backfield again on second down, standing to the right side of Sebastiano, clapping his hands, wants that shotgun snap. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Sebastiano under pressure, wrapped up, somehow slips out of it, has to get rid of the football, and tries to dump it to Dawson Schick in the flat. And Schick dropped it, and I think that was a good thing. If Schick
they are so much better off that Schick dropped that ball.
Yeah,
that would have been a loss of yards.
Could have easily turned into a 10-yard loss as Houston Little came in from the secondary. He was right on top of Schick. So whether that was intentional or not, worked out well for the Monarchs. And give credit to Sebastiano. He eluded one sack, eluded a second one, getting close to the goal line, and that could have turned into a huge disaster, loss of maybe 15 on the play.
Well, so far he's taking advantage of his athleticism, but the quarterback play has not been there.
So 3rd and 10, LA Valley from their 16. Sebastiano clapping his hands, play clock down to 2. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. And looking short on the screen, and that drops into no man's land. Nobody near that football. Ordonez, the closest guy, was about 5 yards to the right. Where that ball dropped, I guess he was close enough that they're not going to call it grounding. And Monarchs go 3 and out. Start at the 16. They will end at the 16, and Juan Quezada will come out to punt this one away. He kicked a beauty of a punt, only 36 yards on the stat sheet, but pinned Santa Barbara inside their 10-yard line on his first punt of the night. And this one just looking for distance, directionally angled to the left side, and will take a ricochet out of bounds at the 48 on the LA Valley side of the field. 32-yard punt, no return, and Santa Barbara will have excellent field position to start this drive.
No, and that's where it goes back to Faison Knight not fielding that punt, and you also have to wonder, well, Sebastiano comes out, he goes a quick 0 for 3 between those 2 drives. Well, how much longer is he going to be in the game? We've already seen that they're so quick to pull these quarterbacks. When does Judd come in? When does Clarence Williams? When does Emmanuel Moten?
Well, history would say it's going to be fairly soon, but we'll find out after the Monarchs get the ball back. Santa Barbara begins at their 47. And we get a flag come out at the line of scrimmage.
A motion penalty against Santa Barbara. Head linesman throwing the flag on that one.
It was Matthew McCarthy, number 57 on the offensive line, jumped a little bit early.
McCarthy lining up at left guard. Just a little bit happy feet there. Too anxious.
So 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 15. Santa Barbara from their 48. Hickson back to pass. Under pressure, dumps it off to Nwosu in a screen. And Nwosu along the right side gets it back into Monarch territory. They'll give him a very generous spot at the 44. That is an 8-yard pickup. And we'll cut it down to 2nd and 7.
Well, the opposite of what I mentioned earlier in the screen game, the defensive line all rushed up the field. That created that space for Nwosu that wasn't there earlier.
So Nwosu has been used more and more in the passing game for Santa Barbara as the game's gone. In fact, he's had a receiving touchdown each of the last 2 games, 2nd and 7 from their 44. Hickson looking right side, threw it and intercepted. LA Valley picks it off.
I think that was Romeo Gunt.
And Romeo Gunt having a...
Well, it's a little bit unclear at the moment who picked the ball off.
Yeah. Well, it was tough to see on the... I guess it was Justin Thompson for LA Valley. We thought it was Taylor Manuel initially. I saw that 5 pop up on the field, but the correction was Jason Thompson, number 28 in the secondary for LA Valley.
Well, this is the kind of break that they need. They need to set the offense up in a position to succeed. The defense doing it so far, forcing penalties and creating this turnover.
Now, LA Valley starting at their 35 will put it on the ground with Smith, and Smith is swallowed up quickly behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of a yard on the play as they'll mark him down at the 34. 5 or 6 Santa Barbara Vaqueros right there to make the tackle quickly.
Well, see, and now Smith comes out of the game, so it's a little bit unclear the rotation they're running here because he's clearly they're trying to go with the hot hand, but when the player gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure what he's supposed to do.
And LA Valley is, well, they've struggled all season to find that rhythm offensively, and they have Sebastiano, the quarterback, is out there for a 3rd series to start the game. 3:20 to play first quarter, no score. 2nd and 11, LA Valley at their 34. Though back to the 3-back formation, pitch to Schick left side, and he is swallowed up at the 25. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Joseph Ricabona was listed as a wide receiver, but comes in and makes the tackle. A huge loss on the play.
That's going to be a loss all the way.
And
For
LA
Schick,
Valley
that's
needs to get to the
3 carries for
45.
negative 4 yards.
Yeah, they're 3rd and 20, and not a whole lot in the playbook for this.
No, especially when you're on your 1st/3rd string quarterback and we don't know what exactly is going on. Luckily, they do have the receivers to where if they get into someone's hands, they have playmakers.
3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Sebastiano takes the shotgun snap, 3rd and 20. Looks short and throws behind Dawson Schick. There was good coverage all the way on the play. Chase Elliott, the linebacker, standing at 6'3", and Schick would have had nowhere to go had he caught that football anyway. And LA Valley goes 3 and out, a trend that we've seen far too often this season. And Santa Barbara should get the ball back with at least decent field position. Houston Little is the lone return man standing at his 40 for Santa Barbara. Juan Quezada set to punt this one away for the Monarchs, standing at the 10-yard line. Gets it away, it's high, it's end over end. Angle to the left side, bounces inside the 40 of Santa Barbara. Little lets it roll out of bounds, where it goes out at the 36. 39-yard punt, no return, and Santa Barbara will begin at their 36. We come back on sportsnetusa.net.
You know, this is a really smart defensive game plan here from the Vaqueros. When you have that inexperienced quarterback on the other end that you're going against, you got to blitz them. You got to bring the pressure. You got to rattle them. And you have to think that, well, they might not be able to necessarily take advantage. That's what they're doing there. The middle linebacker, number 15, Isaac Brown, he came right up the middle, and he forced Sebastiano off his spot.
So Hickson rolling right on first down from his 35, looking out of bounds, and this gets rid of it before that foot came out on the out of bounds marker, ran out of room, and just nowhere to go with that football. Wisely threw it away, and will live to fight for 2nd down.
Solid coverage there, but Hickson does a great job rolling out. He's just probing that defense, looking to see if someone can break open. And then you're right, he makes a smart play. He throws it out of bounds.
So no score, and we're almost to the end of the first quarter. 2:06 on the clock.
Stops the clock with 2:06 to go.
Yeah, Santa Barbara had 20 points in the first quarter last week. They would eventually blow that lead, lose 40-37 to Pierce. And Hickson, play action, rolling left, then throws over the middle and nearly picked off again. Justin Thompson in coverage nearly came away with his 2nd interception of the night. As Hickson was looking for Jeremiah Wright downfield, and Wright at 5'9", not a guy you can afford to overthrow.
No.
His size not on his
Thompson
ledger.
Hickson must have hit the gym today. He wanted to show off that big arm of his, but like you said, 5'9", you can't be overthrowing that guy, especially over the middle.
So 3rd and 10, Santa Barbara from their 35. Nuoso to the left side of Hickson. 3 receivers on the left side, 1 on the right. And Hickson, looking downfield, can't find anybody, takes off and runs it to the 42. He picks up 7, needed 10. And that will bring up 4th down. But for Hickson, perhaps a little hesitant to throw that ball into tight coverage after the interception on the last drive. Instead gets 7, and Santa Barbara content to play the field position game as they pick up 7 and will punt it away to Jeremiah Lorick, who stands at his 25 for LA Valley. Cody Haynes, who had a 57-yard punt, his 2nd longest of the season. Last time we saw him on the field, stands at the 26. Low snap, Haynes able to handle it and gets it away cleanly. Lorick will let it bounce at the 25 and then fields it after it hits the ground. And probably an ill-advised play as he was smothered on that one, nowhere to run. And had he lost that football after trying to field it, there were 3 Santa Barbara players there who could have possibly taken it the other way.
Well, I didn't catch the number on the jersey, Aaron. I think it might have been number 14, Diamond Harrell for the Monarchs. He was the gunner. He was blocking there for Lorick, and he just got run into the play, and I think the ball might have actually grazed him, making it a live ball.
Fortunately for LA Valley, able to recover it as Lorick got it back off of the bounce. 1:11 on the clock, no score, first quarter. 1st and 10, LA Valley. Judd on the 24-yard line, and we'll get our first look at Kalawaya Judd, who replaces Sebastiano after 3 unsuccessful offensive drives. They'll keep it on the ground on 1st down. It's a run to the left side with Smith. And Smith picks up 2 to the 26.
Well, the stats don't exactly blow you away, but Judd has been the most consistent quarterback for this team. He's only completing 45% of his passes, but he has 767 yards with 4 touchdowns going against 6 picks. However, you can see the offense moves when he is in the game. He can get the ball down the field, and he's the most accurate of these 4 Monarchs quarterbacks.
So Judd with 3 men in the backfield, 2nd and 8 from his 26, steps to the right, dumps it off Faison Knight in the flat. Knight at the 30, angles left side 35. Knight on his feet approaching the 40 and has the 1st down. He's brought down at the 38-yard line, a 12-yard completion to Faison Knight. And Kalawaya Judd with the first completed pass for the Monarchs tonight, and only took him about 15 minutes of game time to do it.
No, that's the offensive coordinator just giving him a high percentage throw and that little screen to Knight. And then Knight, beautiful play, cutting to the left. Normally you don't like to see players go south. You don't want to see them run backwards, but he saw the blocking and he took advantage of it.
So LA Valley does not have to snap it. 3 seconds on the game clock. Play clock is at 10. And Judd just gets it off, although then the officials will overrule. Max Hernandez says no, not in time. And that will bring the first quarter to a close. No points on the board. It's been all defense and special teams tonight. And LA Valley will have a 1st down at their 39 when we come back for the 2nd quarter on SportsNetUSA.net. And a reminder that all games on SportsNetUSA.net are presented by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where recent college grads may qualify for a $750 rebate towards the purchase or lease of new Toyotas at Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Both 4-year and 2-year degrees can qualify. More details at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Once again, Miller Toyota of Anaheim.
Well, Aaron, we've seen this revolving door of quarterbacks, but also the running back position has been a little bit shaky. Sometimes we see Shante Smith in the game. Sometimes we see Schick. But Baskerville has actually been the most consistent out of all of them. He's their leading rusher with 76 attempts and 437 yards, along with 5 touchdowns. I'd be interested to see when he gets in the game as well.
So LA Valley has mostly used Smith and Schick out of the backfield tonight, but like you mentioned, Baskerville has been the most explosive player in the running game for LA Valley, averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. They had 80 yards on the ground last week for the Monarchs in a losing effort against Citrus. 1st and 10, LA Valley at their 39 as we start the 2nd quarter. No score. Judd out of the gun, looking downfield, has time. And the pressure comes in, and Judd brought down at the 24. Well, he had all day to throw that ball, needed to get rid of it. And you can only ask an offensive line to stand tall and block for 3 or 4 seconds. When you ask them to do it for 7 or 8, that's asking just far too much.
Oh, negative 14 yards there. That's a killer. R.J. Thorne, number 73, on the sack for Santa Barbara. He has 50 total tackles on the season, and that's his 5th sack of the year.
Yeah, he's been throwing fits for quarterbacks all season long. Second and 24, excuse me, LA Valley at the 25-yard line following the loss of 14 on the R.J. Thorne sack, and LA Valley will spend a timeout. It was their first timeout, comes with 14:11 on the clock in the second quarter, and LA Valley will talk about how they want to attack this very difficult situation. 2nd and 24 deep on their side of the field. And we come back after the timeout.
Well, the clock was winding down there, and he was not going to be able to get the play off. But also, this is a good chance to talk it over, figure out what you want to do. You want to try and get about half of this back. You're not going to get 24 yards on 2 plays, so now you got to figure out how do we get back that 14 that we just lost. Hopefully have 3rd and 10-ish. That's realistically how they can go ahead and convert this and keep the drive alive.
Right, and you almost hate to be defeatist, but in a game like this, are you almost better off playing it conservatively, try to just chip away little by little and then play the field position game with the punting unit?
When you have a limited offense, which LA Valley has had this season, typically that is the mindset you want to go. But with this being the last game of the season, maybe head coach Matt White wants to be aggressive and go all out.
14:11 to go, second quarter, no score, 2nd and 24. LA Valley at their 25, coming out of the timeout. Judd takes the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff to Smith, thumps it off short. Jeremiah Lorick at the 25. Lorick spins out of a tackle at the 30 and fights his way forward to the 34 before he finally loses his footing. It's a pickup of 10 for Jeremiah Lorick. First reception of the night for the Monarchs' leading receiver. Second completion for Judd tonight, who has 22 yards. And for LA Valley, it'll be a much more manageable 3rd and 14. Still pretty long, but better than 2nd and 24, which is what they faced the previous play.
Still long, but now you have plays in the playbook that at least have a chance at this. When you're throwing it 24 yards down the field, that's much harder.
3rd and 14, LA Valley from their 35. Judd takes the shotgun snap, looking downfield, throwing into first down territory, and incomplete. Looking for Justin Jacob. And the pass goes off the back of Chase Elliott, the linebacker, who was deep downfield, helping out the secondary in coverage.
Good coverage by Chase Elliott there, just in that man defense, chasing Jacobs down the field. But, man, if you're Jacobs, you got to come back to that ball. You got to make a play on it, and then you have a chance to maybe draw contact.
So Juan Quezada set to punt it away again, standing at his 20, gets it away cleanly. It's high, it's in the air, spiraling, and fielded at the 28. And Houston Little gets it and is immediately drilled leveled into the ground at the 28-yard line.
Houston Little is just a little bit of a do-it-all player for this team. He's their punt returner, and he's got 193 yards on the season, averaging 21.4 per kick return. He's also their leading tackler.
Yeah, Houston Little seemingly does it all. Has done a good job in the secondary. Covered one pass into the end zone tonight already. Knocked it away and prevented the Monarchs from getting on the board on their opening drive. 13-16 on the clock. Second quarter. And still no score. Santa Barbara takes over at their 28. Following the LA Valley punt, Jerry Hickson in the gun. Nwosu in the backfield. And Nwosu takes the handoff, looking for an opening behind the left guard, and LA Valley quickly closes in. There's nothing going on that play for Santa Barbara. Darius Harris, among others, in on the tackle for that defensive line for LA Valley.
Nwosu has really been bottled up. He's got 3 carries for 3 yards, and he's done the little bit of damage that he has in this game in the passing game with 2 receptions for 9. But if you're LA Valley, you got to be happy with that for an all-conference type of player.
2nd and 9. Santa Barbara from their 29. Hickson rolling right side, completes it to Donald Lambert at the 35, and Lambert able to pick up a few more after the catch. He should have enough for the first down. Yeah, they're going to mark him at the 40. And that is enough. Moves the chains for Santa Barbara, and they'll have a first down at their 40.
That makes it 2 catches for 22 yards for Lambert and breaks a string of a couple incompletions for Hickson.
They fake a handoff to Nwosu on first down, then Jerry Hickson takes it on a QB keeper left side. And Nwosu pick up 2 to the 42, or excuse me, Hickson 2 yards to the 42. Actually going to move it up to the 43, so a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. Santa Barbara at their 43, trying to get on the board first. LA Valley trying to keep the shutout intact. Hickson in the gun. They'll move a 3rd receiver to the left side, and a motion penalty called against Santa Barbara.
Well, Aaron, you know, these penalties, these bad snaps, these mental mistakes, the fumble by Judd, both teams are playing really the same game so far. They've had self-inflicted errors that are really costing their offenses. Both defenses doing well, but the offenses have to get out of their own way.
The false start makes it 2nd and 12 from their 38 for Santa Barbara. Hickson under heavy pressure from the blind side gets rid of it and complete to the 45. Reese Perez with a catch. It's good for 6 to the 44. And for Santa Barbara, it'll be 3rd down and 6. 2nd catch of the night for Perez. Each of them have been 7 yards.
2 catches in this opening half. So the Vaqueros now looking at 3rd
And Santa Barbara, 3rd and 6 from their 44. Nwosu to the right side of Hickson, providing some blocking as Hickson rolling to the right side, looking for Lambert on the sidelines and overthrown. In coverage for LA Valley, it was Najee Morrison. The ball was overthrown anyway. As Hickson off the mark, looking for Lambert, who is their biggest deep threat. And once again, it will bring out the punting unit for Santa Barbara.
Well, Aaron, I've said it all season long. I cannot stand plays like that where you're relying on such a high percentage throw from your quarterback. Why not give him something easy to complete over the middle where you have multiple options rather than having to deliver a perfect throw over the shoulder on the sideline?
So Haynes just gets rid of it, and it's fielded by Faison Knight at the 25. Knight picks up a couple before he's brought down at the 28. So a gain of just a few for Faison Knight.
Are you the ones from Valley College? You also
10:49 on the clock in the first half, still no score, and it's just been all defense, all special teams tonight. And mind you that tonight's game brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Check out the alignment, brake, and oil change specials on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Now Kalawaya Judd will get a second crack at it, leading the offense. So the Monarchs will begin at their 27. Play clock is down to 1. They just get the snap off, and it's a give to Dawson Schick. Schick with a cut to the left side, picks up 2 to the 29. And that play almost resulted in a delay of game, but able to pick up 2 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 8 for LA Valley. Both offenses still trying to find some kind of rhythm, as neither side has managed more than, I believe, 3 first downs on the unofficial stat sheet. So Judd getting the offense to the line of scrimmage. Will stay in the gun. Schick line up behind him. It looks like they'll move the fullback Terrell Love to his left side. Handoff Schick. Schick gets a block from the fullback Love, and only gets back to the line of scrimmage. As Love, the fullback, was blocking, but he was blocking 5 yards out of where Schick was, and kind of blocked that initial guy before he blocked downfield. And it's kind of a broken play for LA Valley from the start.
Well, I'm not sure, Aaron, but Schick seems to be getting the majority of the workload tonight. Of the 9 rushing plays for LA Valley, he's gotten 5 of the carries. He's actually got -1 yard because he had that big 9-yard loss earlier in the first quarter.
A generous spot, put the football at the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7, LA Valley. Judd out of the gun, chased from behind. Throws to the 35 and incomplete. He was looking for the fullback Love, who was short of the first down marker anyway. Good coverage on the play by Andrew Penrod in the secondary out of Antioch, California. And Love, the fullback, and he caught that ball, would have been about 5 yards shy of the first down, and your fullback isn't the guy you want to have to make shifty moves with the feet. You got past a much quicker secondary man.
Well,
so.
he would have been a couple yards short of the first down, but he also would have been lit up. So Love's better off that he did not catch that pass. That's Judd's first incompletion of the night.
Juan Quezada sends it high in the air. Fair catch called for by Santa Barbara at the 43, and the ball's on the ground. Santa Barbara touched it. Houston Little couldn't handle it, but fortunately for Santa Barbara, the ball rolls out of bounds before LA Valley can get their hands on it. Nearly coming away with the fumble recovery was Ivan Myrtlelis. Plays in the secondary, also in on the special teams unit, and that was so close to possibly the break that LA Valley needed in this game, in which field position has been a big factor.
Yeah, it also looked like he may have been interfered with trying to come up with the play. I'm surprised we didn't see a flag there, as it's one of the themes of this season has been the refs are very eager to throw the laundry on the field.
So 9:08 to go first half, no score. All defense, all special teams tonight. Whistle on the field. Officials want to talk something over, perhaps talking about the spot. The ball's at the 50-yard line for now.
Touched, and I believe they are going to say
so they are going to adjust the spot. Santa Barbara's Houston Little couldn't handle the punt. It went off his fingertips, off his chest, rolled forward, and you can't gain yardage in that situation, so they're going to go back to where Little dropped that ball initially. So Santa Barbara at their 43 to start. It is Jerry Hickson out of the gun, gives it away to Nwosu, and Nwosu, who has been bottled up all night long, able to pick up a few to the 46. It's a 3-yard run for him, but on my unofficial stat sheet, I have him at just 7 yards tonight. And for Nwosu, who had such a great start to the season, 5 of the first 6 games, he went over 100 yards, but has not had nearly the same success once conference play has begun. And Nwosu is just not been able to find those big openings against the LA Valley defense. That 3-yard run, his longest of the night.
Correct, Aaron, but he does only need 40 more on the season to be a 1,000-yard back, which he is still the leader in the American Pacific.
Now 2nd and 7 for Santa Barbara from their 46. Hickson takes the shotgun snap, gives it away. Nwosu again looking for an opening on the left side. And a run that didn't look pretty, but when he ended up gaining about 4 yards across the 50 to the 49. So 4-yard pickup for Manny Nwosu. And now that becomes his longest run of the night and sets up Santa Barbara with a very manageable 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, this looks like a long 2, a short 3, but this is smart. Get the running game going. Get your all-conference back involved and pound this LA Valley defense.
So 3rd down and about 2.5 for Santa Barbara from the LA Valley 49. LA Valley stuff in the box at the line of scrimmage, and no surprise, Nwosu gets the call. Nwosu on his feet, pushing his way forward, fighting for the first down. He has it to the 45, 4 yards for Manny Nwosu. And just winning that battle in the trenches. Give credit to the Santa Barbara offensive line. I see the red pants on the field. I keep wanting to say Pierce. That's LA Valley's biggest rival, but just to avoid the confusion if you're just joining us, Santa Barbara is the opponent tonight.
Well, they're just grinding their way through this defense, picking up first downs, and that is the way to do it. Get your back involved.
Yeah, they'll keep it on the ground. First down, it's Nwosu again. Nwosu behind the right tackle is brought down by Tyree Thompson. At the 43, we'll call it a gain of 1, setting up 2nd down and 9.
Thompson with the arm tackle. That's really what we've seen from Nwosu on a lot of these carries. He has 4 carries that have only gone for 1 yard, other than a couple of the longer ones on that last set of downs. So he's been wrapped up at the ankles, and he's gone down at the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 9, Santa Barbara trying to break a scoreless tie. 6:40 to play first half. Jerry Hickson takes the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, rolling right on the play action, looking downfield. Can't find anything early, then finds Donald Lambert at the 25, and Donald Lambert with room to run down the sidelines. Flag comes out at the end, but Donald Lambert was inside the 10-yard line before he was pushed out of bounds. 33-yard completion as it stands, but got to see what the flag is about. And if it's against LA Valley, it would be forced half the distance to the goal, which would put the ball around the 5-yard line.
I would say so, Aaron. I think that they're going to say he was pushed out of bounds.
It's going to be a late hit after the play.
Yeah, we get that late hit. when Lambert was already out of bounds. That's just the play you can't afford to give up.
Yeah, personal foul, late hit against LA Valley, a 33-yard completion, which was the longest offensive play of the night by either side. Third catch by Donald Lambert. And 5 more to the end of it, and first and goal, Santa Barbara at the 5. They will fake a handoff, and Jerry Hickson up the middle, diving towards the goal line. Is he in? It looks like he is short. The officials will say no, not quite. Needed 5, got 4.
Well, they're bringing in the heavy set now, bringing in the tight ends. That's number 44 that you see Thomas Quinn checking in.
So Jerry Hickson has 2 rushing touchdowns this season, so he is an option in these first and goal, second and goal situations. Manny Nwosu has 8 rushing touchdowns. He's the primary option inside the red zone. Second and goal, Santa Barbara at the 1. Nwosu standing behind Hickson, takes the handoff. Nwosu hit at the 1, stays on his feet and pushes his way into the end zone. 1-yard touchdown run, Manny Nwosu, our first score of the night, and Santa Barbara takes a 6-0 lead with 5.5 minutes to play in the first half.
And for Nwosu, well, he's just been dominant this season. That is his 9th touchdown of the season, Aaron, as he creeps close to that 1,000-yard mark. And Santa Barbara takes the lead. Now LA Valley, they have to respond. The offense has not been good when they're in the hole, and they need to recover.
The extra point by Martin Alstrom.
And meanwhile, Martin Alstrom pushes the extra point through, add 1 more to the board. And with 5:33 on the clock in the first half, Santa Barbara has gone up 7-0. You're watching LA Valley College football on SportsNetUSA.net, brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. All games on SportsNetUSA.net presented by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where recent college grads may qualify for a $750 rebate towards the purchase or lease of select new Miller Toyotas at Anaheim. Both 4-year and 2-year degrees can qualify. More details at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Miller Toyota of Anaheim.
And excuse the technical difficulties there, folks. The scoreboard is not cooperating, so we're going to have to go without that for the rest of the night. But as you said, Aaron, we'll keep you updated. It's 7-0, Vaqueros over the Monarchs with that Nwosu 1-yard touchdown run.
In the beginning of the season, back in September, LA Valley, remember, had that 3-0 start to the year. State-long 19-game winning streak, which was snapped, and now they've lost 5 out of 6. Second and 10, LA Valley from their 38. Judd out of the gun, 4-receiver set, plenty of time to throw, looking over the middle, and throws a BB into the chest of Justin Jacobs, who falls to the ground at the 45-yard line of Santa Barbara, reaches forward with the right arm, picks up 2 more after the catch to the 43. And a first down pickup for Justin Jacobs on his first reception of the night.
Oh, I love it, Aaron. Just throw the ball down the seam.
44 yards through the air for Kalawaya Judd. First and 10, LA Valley from the 43 of Santa Barbara. LA Valley trailing 7-0. Manny Nwosu, a 1-yard touchdown run on the last possession for Santa Barbara. 4 minutes to play first half. High snap, Judd able to handle it and gets rid of it quickly, looking for Dalton Ordonez. Skips it into the turf in front of him. Good coverage on the play by Joseph Karung out of Chico, California, about 10 hours north of here.
Yeah, and it almost looked like Curran was ready to just scoop that ball out of the air, as it might have chipped Aronis in the foot and gone up and been in play.
So LA Valley breaking the huddle, heading to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 from the Santa Barbara 43. Just under 4 minutes to play first half. LA Valley trailing by a touchdown, 7-0. Judd in the gun, Smith behind him. Fakes the handoff to Smith. Judd on the bootleg right side and gets swallowed up whole. 4 Santa Barbara defenders in the area, and leading the way was number 62, Noah Gibbons, all 285 pounds of him. And ouch, that had a hurt for Kalawaya Judd.
And that is the last thing you want if you're watching this LA Valley team with Kalawaya Judd, because he has been injury prone all year. He's never been at 100%. And then when we get into the WWE mode here and he gets pile drived into the ground, you have to hold your breath.
Kalawaya Judd missed most of last season, went down with a knee injury after 3 weeks of play last year, came back and really has never looked quite right this season. 3rd and 13 from the 46 of Santa Barbara. Judd moving to his left side, looking towards the sideline. It's complete. It's Jeremiah Lorick at the 30. He has a first down, spins out of a tackle, and then picks up 5 more after the catch out of bounds at the 25. And Jeremiah Lorick picks up about another 21 yards to the 25-yard line of Santa Barbara.
And we've got a penalty here. It looks like that might be going against number 51 on the offense.
Yeah, it's at the line of
the
scrimmage.
refs are discussing this.
Yeah, if you're LA Valley, you just hope and pray that it's not holding.
Oh, the officials are motioning towards the defense.
Well, offsetting penalties on the play, Calvin Brown of LA Valley and Chandre Smith of Santa Barbara. So the ruling must have been that the penalties both occurred after the play. Is if they occurred during the play, they should have been offsetting and you would replay the down.
That's a lucky break for the Monarchs.
Yeah, so 1st and 10, LA Valley from the Santa Barbara 23, trying to crawl out of a 7-0 hole. Giveaway to Shante Smith on the ground. Smith up the middle, finds a seam, and inside the 15 he goes, down to about the 14. It'll depend on the final spot. And yep, looks like it'll be at the 14. Pickup of 9 for Smith, who has been the most successful of the running backs tonight. We have yet to see Artemis Baskerville, who has the most gaudy stats on the season, but Shante Smith getting the lion's share of the carries tonight. 37 yards for him on the ground tonight. 2nd and 1, LA Valley at the Santa Barbara 14, trailing 7-0, 2:18 to play. First half, Judd, the shotgun snap, 4 receiver set, looking far side into the end zone, into coverage, and intercepted. Intercepted by Santa Barbara, trying to see that jersey number on the far side of the field. It looks like 24, Terrell Jennings. In the secondary, a freshman out of Colorado Springs.
And oh boy, Aaron, if you're LA Valley, that was your drive. You had the offsetting penalties going your way. Judd looking good, completing the passes. Shante Smith with a shifty running, and now, boy, that one is a dagger, especially as you get a chance to equalize the game going into halftime.
Yeah, well, we've talked about the red zone woes for LA Valley. They weren't, they just haven't been able to be successful in the red zone all season long. Less than 50% of the time do they come away with points when they make it in there. And just another example of that. They get downfield, rack up yardage, but can't execute. So 7-0 Santa Barbara. They begin at the 20 following the touchback on the Terrell Jennings interception. And it's a run by Nuoso to the 25. Pickup of 5 will make it 2nd and 5 for Santa Barbara.
Well, it feels like Nuoso's starting to heat up. He might be one of those backs that gets better as the game goes along and as he gets the carries.
As we mentioned several times, his biggest games came in the first half of the year. 5 straight games going over 100 yards. 2nd and 5, Santa Barbara from their 25. Pitch left side, it's Nuoso again. And Nuoso slips out of one tackle at the 26, stays on his feet, and is going to be close to the 30-yard line. It's on the far side of the field, waiting for the officials to give us the signal as to whether it was enough for the first down. I think it's going to be a little bit short.
Well, that's already going to be his 10th carry of the first half.
It'll be a 4-yard run to the 29. Jeremy Reichner with a first down saving tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Santa Barbara from their 29. Inside the final minute of the first half, Santa Barbara with 3 timeouts. If they get the first down, they can start to manage the clock. Jerry Hickson in the gun, Nuoso standing behind him. Receiver on each side of the field as well as a tight end. Nuoso, the ball carrier, has the first down as he punches his way ahead of the 30 out to the 33. 5 more yards for Nuoso, and now time for Santa Barbara to perhaps start using these timeouts. 35 seconds on the clock.
Well, they don't seem particularly interested in putting any points. It seems like they just want to kill the clock and take this lead into halftime.
Yeah, now with 28 seconds and counting, and Santa Barbara appears
they're only going to have to run one more play.
Yeah, they're content to, I guess, go to the locker room with a 7-0 lead. The snap finally comes with 20 seconds on the clock. Pump fake for Hickson, airs it out down the right sidelines, and incomplete, looking for Donald Lambert, but a flag comes out. Jameer Bryson in coverage, and looks like he might be called for getting a little handsy.
I think that's going to be the call there, and I think we're going to get that defensive pass interference. And, I got to say, I didn't see that. That looked like good coverage, and it looked like both of the players were trying to play for the ball.
And I think Hickson overthrew Lambert on the play, so I think you can make the argument that that was not a catchable ball. And if you're going to call something, in that case, I think maybe you call defensive holding, which would be the 5-yard variety as opposed to pass interference, the 15-yard penalty. But for Bryson shaking his head, you can tell from his body language he doesn't think he did anything wrong on that play.
No, and I think a lot of the people up here in the press box and in the stands are agreeing with him. But if it's the 15-yard penalty, that's going to put the Vaqueros.
Wow. Sigh of relief for LA Valley. They get Jameer Bryson for the pass interference, which we think was a dubious call at best. However, it was a personal foul penalty against Aaron Jacobs on the offensive line for Santa Barbara. And because of that, the incompletion never happened. And with just 14 seconds on the game clock, Santa Barbara goes back to their 34. They have all 3 timeouts, but really no time to utilize them at this point. And Jerry Hickson will give it away on first down. It's Nuoso, and Nuoso just doing a little stat padding before the half. 5-yard pickup to the 39. And Santa Barbara looks like we'll be content to call it a half with a 7-0 lead. So 30 minutes gone by, 30 minutes to go. And 7-0 Santa Barbara on top of LA Valley as the first half comes to a close. We'll come back and recap some of the first half stats, preview the second half in just a little bit, but you're listening and watching LA Valley College Football, brought to you by Sportsnet, or brought to you on SportsNetUSA.net by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Check out the alignment, brake, and oil change specials on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Miller Toyota of Anaheim. So both teams out of it at this point. LA Valley 4-5 on the year. Santa Barbara at 3-6. Monarchs have lost 5 out of 6. Santa Barbara has lost 5 in a row. Allen Hancock wrapped up the conference championship with a win over Citrus earlier today. A perfect 5-0 for Allen Hancock. And 8-2, 5-0 in the conference, that is, and 8-2 overall. So congratulations to them on their 2017 American Pacific Championship. 1st and 10, LA Valley trailing 7-0. They'll begin at their 20. And keep it on the ground with Shante Smith. A nice run to the right side. Picks up the first down, 12 yards out to the 32. So Shante Smith now with 74 yards on the evening, a career high for him. 2:40 and counting in the third quarter. LA Valley trailing by a touchdown. Sebastiano in the gun. Has a fullback on each side of him. It's Love on the right side, Reichner on the left, and Shante Smith in the backfield behind Sebastiano. Sebastiano looking downfield, throws and intercepted at the 37. Down to the 30 and intercepted by Santa Barbara. Chase Elliott, the linebacker, 6'3", 220 out of Huntington Beach. And that was something LA Valley could just not afford. Chase Elliott jumped the route. He was right there to make the play. Second interception of the night for the Santa Barbara defense. Chase Elliott and Terrell Jennings, each with an interception tonight. And LA Valley's woes continue. Offensively, they have been shut out tonight. They have thrown 2 interceptions. They threw 3 of them last week. And what was a killer and a 3-point game. 1-possession game tonight as well. And the 2 interceptions have been costly. Santa Barbara takes over at the LA Valley 26. It's a reverse, and then Lambert off the pitch throws it into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Touchdown Santa Barbara. Cody Haynes, the big tight end, caught it from Donald Lambert on the trick play. And that doubles the Santa Barbara lead. 2 touchdowns, 13-0 with 2:09 to play in the third quarter.
Oh boy, Aaron, that feels like the nail in the coffin here for LA Valley. You have to be nervous the way the offense hasn't been able to get anything going all night. And, boy, that 2-touchdown lead is going to be rough.
Well, it's tough, and especially you hate to give it up right off the turnover, too. Just so emotionally deflating for a defense that has played so well all night long. They had only given up 7 points heading into that play, and then Sebastiano throws a terrible interception. I mean, Chase Elliott was the only guy within 5 yards of that football when he intercepted it, and then Santa Barbara calls the trick play. LA Valley was not ready for it. Haynes wide open in the end zone. Donald Lambert showing off that right arm to go along with his ability as a speedy receiver. Extra point, meanwhile, is good. So 14-0, Santa Barbara up 2 touchdowns. And with the way this is going, it feels almost insurmountable for LA Valley. They've scored only 35 points now over the last 4.5 games.
Well, that's just not what you want to hear. And, I know that Judd was pulled for pushing the defensive player in that scruff kind of when the game started to get chippy earlier on, but I think you have to put him back in the game. He seems like the only hope for your offense. And, we've seen him come in and get immediate results. That happened earlier in this game. That's happened in previous games. I would expect to see him coming back in and not Sebastiano.
Well, certainly could be time to make a change. Each quarterback has thrown a costly interception tonight. Judd's was in the end zone. When they were in the red zone, had a chance to tie the game at 7 at the time, and Sebastiano's led directly to 7 Santa Barbara points. They've doubled their lead to 14-0. Haynes' kick is off and will take a couple of bounces into the end zone. Jameer Bryson declines to pick it up and return it. So 2:09 to play, third quarter, 14-0 Santa Barbara, and what is been a disappointing season for both teams. Each team making a bowl game last year. LA Valley, the only undefeated team in the state, perfect 11-0, and this year just playing out the string. Each team started the year well. LA Valley was 3-0 at one point. Santa Barbara, 3 straight blowout wins after losing their opener. They stood at 3-1 and had to be optimistic with conference play around the corner, and then things just went south for both of these teams. And
whatever was
last game of the season.
Whatever was going on with Santa Barbara, they seem to have fixed it. They were on that 5-game losing streak, as we've mentioned, and they haven't won a game in the conference yet, but they've really responded well tonight.
That they have, and LA Valley beginning this drive at their 20. They'll put it on the ground, and
Sebastiano just putting the team on his back.
In at quarterback, we speculated that Judd might replace him. It's Sebastiano with a nice run on the bootleg to the 41 of Santa Barbara. 39 yards on the scramble. Julius Sebastiano has that ability, and Judd not nearly as mobile after injuring his knee. 3 games into last season, missed the rest of the year, came back, was really only about 50% when he came back. So LA Valley trailing by 14, minute and a half to play third quarter. 1st and 10 at the Santa Barbara 41. Shante Smith carries left side. Smith on his feet inside the 40. And Smith fighting his way to the 37. It's a pickup of 4 for Shante Smith before he's gang tackled. There's an injured Monarch down at the tail end of the play. And we'll get an injury timeout on the field.
And hoping everything's okay with that injury, Aaron. But going back to the very beginning of the game when they came back in that triple back set with Sebastiano getting the start at quarterback, that's what we were looking for, where there was that read option offense, and that's what we've seen on the only 2 plays so far this drive. Sebastiano kept it when he saw the read on the left side, and he scrambled for that 40-yard gain, and then he gave it to Shante Smith there when the end crashed in towards the quarterback.
Yeah, the running game has been pretty effective for LA Valley tonight. Shante Smith has quietly put together a 78-yard performance, and then Sebastiano with a nice 39-yard run to start this series out. So LA Valley in good position trying to carve this deficit in half, trailing 14-0, minute 20 to play third quarter. And
Absolutely.
2nd and 6 for LA Valley at the 37 of Santa Barbara.
As long as they can get the offense going, the clock isn't their enemy yet. If they're not able to walk away with points on this drive, it's about to start being.
Sebastiano will stay in the gun. Shante Smith behind him. 2 receivers on the right side, receiver and a fullback on the left side. Sebastiano, time to throw, looking deep over the middle into the end zone, and knocked into the ground. He was looking for Jameer Bryson, who was double covered. That ball was underthrown, as Bryson was a little bit ahead of the secondary at the time the ball was released. With the ball underthrown, Bryson had to stop, come back a little bit, and Actually gave Santa Barbara a decent look at an interception.
Yeah, that gave Joseph Caron, the DB, number 6, to come up. He came up, he had a chance to make a play on the ball. Probably should have intercepted it, and that would have been the nail in the coffin.
So incomplete on second down, 3rd and 6. LA Valley at the Santa Barbara 37, down 14-0. Final minute of the third quarter. Sebastiano with Shante Smith behind him takes a shotgun snap. Looking downfield, goes deep down the left sideline, and it is caught. It is caught. Dimitri Atkinson at the 6-yard line and out of bounds. 31 yards from Julius Sebastiano to Dimitri Atkinson. And that'll set up a 1st and goal for LA Valley.
And I got it.
If it doesn't come back, there's a flag on the field at the 45-yard line. I missed it, Luke.
I missed it too. My eyes were busy downfield, and I cannot imagine how you hold on that play.
Oh boy, how disappointing is that for LA Valley? You finally get a big play in the passing game, which has eluded them basically the whole season. They throw it, would have set up a 1st and goal. You get a holding penalty way back at the line of scrimmage. It'll back them up to the 47 of Santa Barbara. And now it's 3rd and 16 at the 47. We've mentioned the third down struggles for LA Valley, just 18% on the season. And now a 3rd and 16 from the 47 of Santa Barbara, down 2 touchdowns and just 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Time is short. Sebastiano out of the gun, rolling to his right, looking for Lorick down the sidelines, and incomplete. Overshot Lorick. High throw over his head. Coverage on the play by Marshawn Davenport, sophomore out of Pittsburgh, California.
And, you know, we're seeing the punt team come out here on a play that, frankly, I'm not so sure about, because you're down by 14. We haven't had anything going in the offense. We had a couple of big plays negated. You know, this is crunch time. You're in the last quarter of your season. It's time to go for it.
Well, I guess LA Valley thinking they're going to get 2 more looks at it. Although tough to punt this one away, trailing by 2 touchdowns when you're in enemy territory. The punt goes inside the 20-yard line. Caught by Houston Little, and Little was hit at the 16-yard line. Friendly fire. No play against LA Valley on the fair catch interference. Fortunate for the Monarchs, that ball will stay at the 16.
Yeah, well said. And that's a good no call by the officials. He was just ran into by his own man. He got creamed a little bit. You don't see him get hit that hard too often, but that is what happened.
So down to the final ticks of the third quarter. Could be the final play of this period. Just 12 seconds on the clock. 14-0 Santa Barbara. They'll start at their own 17. A motion from right to left, that's Lambert, and in the backfield, Nwosu up the middle on his feet, shakes the tackle to 25, past the 30, and 1st down and more to the 36-yard line on the final play of the third quarter. A 19-yard run from Manny Nwosu. That puts him over 100 on the night, 104 to be exact. Nwosu already has eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark on the season. He had the first touchdown of the night, a 1-yard run in the second quarter, put Santa Barbara up 7-0. They have since doubled that lead on a 26-yard pass from Lambert to Haynes in the end zone. At the end of 3 quarters, 14-0 Santa Barbara on top of LA Valley. Back for the fourth quarter after this on SportsNetUSA.net. And all games on SportsNetUSA.net are presented by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where recent college grads may qualify for a $750 rebate toward the purchase or lease of select new Millers Toyotas at Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Both 4-year and 2-year degrees can qualify. More details at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Miller Toyota of Anaheim.
Well, Aaron, we're about to come back into what's going to be the last quarter of the season here for LA Valley College, and for Santa Barbara for that matter, and for you and myself. But we got to see, Nwosu is just killing them. The defense has to step up on this drive.
And the defense just looks tired now. They'll give it to Nwosu again, 1st and 10. Santa Barbara at their 36 to start the fourth quarter. Nwosu running horizontally, then gets a late opening behind his left tackle, it looks like, and still on his feet ahead of the 40 to about the 46. Yeah, that play looked dead in the water initially, maybe 3 yards or so, and Nwosu, give him credit. He just stayed tough, carried a couple defenders on his back, and I think he picked up the first down. He is. We got the signal from the officials, 10 yards for Nwosu and a first down.
Well, he's the kind of player, as we mentioned earlier, as the game gets going and he gets more carries, he heats up.
114 yards for Nuoso on the night, 14-0 Santa Barbara. Just underway in the fourth quarter. And Santa Barbara looking to kill some clock, if not come away with more points. 1st and 10 following the Nuoso pickup for a first down. Santa Barbara from their 46, shotgun snap to Hickson. Nuoso gets the call again. This time runs right side, sweeps around the tackle, past the 50, and upended around the ankles at the 48. Jameer Bryson there to bring him down. But 6 more yards for Manny Nuoso. And into LA Valley territory, setting up a 2nd and 4.
Aaron, that's been the only way they've been able to tackle him with one tackler tonight. You have to go low. You have to hit him below the knees or in the ankles and wrap him up.
Yeah, we saw in that last play, the one he ran for 10 yards in the first down, they tried to tackle him around the shoulders, and that's just not going to get
That's
it done.
not working. He's too strong for that.
2nd and 4 following the 6-yard run. Santa Barbara from the LA Valley 48. Up 14-0, minute and a half into the fourth quarter. Shotgun snap to Hickson and pitches it right to Nuoso on the option. Nuoso with a cut to the left side and never really finds any space to run with. Hit at the line of scrimmage. And it'll be a no gain, bringing up 3rd down and 4 for Santa Barbara. So Santa Barbara, not surprisingly, is keeping the ball on the ground. They want to chew up as much clock as possible. Clock is their friend at this point, just 13 minutes to go. And LA Valley showing a very limited offense tonight. Still have yet to score. They'd only scored 35 total points in the previous 4 games. So Santa Barbara trying to just move downfield. 3rd and 4 from the LA Valley 48. And on a slant, looking for Lambert, and in and out of his hands. Lambert was open. He was inside the 40-yard line. Would have been a first down and more. But Donald Lambert had his hands fail him on that play, and now decision time for Santa Barbara on 4th down.
Well, they're calling that a drop. You know, that was right in that middle ground where you never know. Did he catch it? Did he make the football move? Is that going to make it a fumble? I guess not. But they've been very timely when choosing to pass here in the second half, and that's been making it very effective. The run game has opened up the passing game for the Vaqueros.
Right, and no fault to the play call there. That the first down was there. Had Lambert been able to hang on to that football. And low snap, Haynes initially bobbles it, then able to pick it up and just gets it away. It'll bounce at the 20-yard line, take a favorable roll for Santa Barbara inside the 15. And eventually will come to a stop at the 11. 41-yard punt, no return. There is a flag down.
There's been
the punt, and could we be looking at interference?
I think he might have ran into the kicker, which would be a 5-yard penalty and would.
On a 4th and 4, even if it's just the 5-yard variety, that's a first down.
That's enough.
You know, LA Valley hoping and praying that's not what it is, although I really can't imagine what else it would be from that spot. It's not at the line of scrimmage, so I've got to think it's not holding.
Well, let's listen up.
So let's get the call by the referee. We've got a personal foul against Santa Barbara.
Well, Aaron, they're
official's
calling
mic's not working, but a personal foul against Santa Barbara. Don't know who the guilty party is, but looks like it'll be 15 yards enforced at the end of where the punt was down. So for LA Valley, it's a break with field position. Instead of starting at the 11, they'll get to begin at their 26. And you know, when you're trailing by 14 points and really can't get anything going offensively, 15 yards.
That's a lot.
Pretty helpful.
And, you know, I have to say, for as great as LA Valley special teams are, I'm a little bit surprised. We've seen these low snaps on the punts all night, and they haven't been able to get any blocks. You see them get so close but not quite able to bring it home. I think that's one of the areas they've left it on the field tonight, or left something on the table.
So 12 and a half minutes to play. LA Valley trailing 14-0, 1st and 10 at their 26. Sebastiano, the quarterback, Schick, the running back, and Schick bobbles the handoff and just has to fall on it at the 23. It's a loss of 3 on the play. Could have been a lot worse. And Santa Barbara broken through that line a little bit quicker, perhaps could have come up with another turnover. And you know, for LA Valley, you get the gift. You get the 15-yard penalty. You get to start at your 26 instead of your 11. And then you go and do something like that. You bobble a snap and put yourself in a difficult second down here, 2nd and 13 after the loss of 3. Just can't afford any more mistakes like this.
Well, not only that, but we continue the revolving door, and now Emmanuel Moten is in at quarterback.
Emmanuel Moten, our 3rd quarterback of the night. will give it away to Schick. Schick running to the left side, and Schick doesn't get much. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage for the start of this drive, and it's going to be 3rd and a long 10. So we saw Emmanuel Moten warming up on the sidelines late in the 3rd quarter. Not sure if he was going to make his way into the game by the end of the night or not, but hey, why not? They've been using 3, sometimes 4 quarterbacks all season long, so
2 would have been a small number.
So Emmanuel Moten will work out of the gun on 3rd down, 3rd and 9. Dawson Schick behind him. I got to think it's an obvious passing situation. 2 receivers and a tight end on the right, 1 receiver on the left. Moten clapping his hands, wants a shotgun snap, gets it, airs it out down the left sideline, and overthrows Jeremiah Lorick. Lorick had a step on the man in coverage. That was Marshawn Davenport.
Just a little too much juice there, but there is a flag back at the original line of scrimmage.
So if it's a hold against LA Valley, obviously that would be declined, but it's roughing the passer against Santa Barbara.
That is the break they needed on this drive.
Two 15-yard penalties against Santa Barbara to start this drive for LA Valley have accounted for 30 yards of offense for the Monarchs. And that's 30 of the 31 yards the Monarchs have moved the football. Only 1 yard they've actually earned with running actual offensive plays here.
And Santa Barbara, just shooting themselves in the foot. You step up, play defense, don't commit penalties, and I think we both agree this game is just about over.
Emmanuel Moten, by the way, just 1 for 4 for 4 yards on the season, seeing very limited action. 1st and 10, LA Valley from their 42. Screen pass caught by Faison Knight, caught at the 40. Fight angling to the left side and out of bounds at the 50. Perhaps a yard ahead of there. Yeah, they're going to mark him at the 42. So 10-yard run on the screen pass to Faison Knight, who was at a quiet second half of the season. Faison Knight caught the game winner against College of the Desert in overtime, which was I believe that was our first broadcast of the season.
I believe it was.
Here at LA Valley, improved the Monarchs to 2-0 on the year. Seems like a distant memory now. So we move inside of 11 minutes to go. 14-0 Santa Barbara. LA Valley looking to cut that deficit in half. 1st and 10 from the Santa Barbara 48. Moten out of the gun. Schick in the backfield. 2 receivers left. 1 receiver to the right. Hand off to Schick, and Schick hit behind the line of scrimmage, driven into the ground at the 50. It's a loss of 2 on the play. And credit the defensive line for Santa Barbara quickly reading that play and coming in to make a quick tackle.
I understand the thinking here, especially when you're on your 3rd-string quarterback. You want to get the running game going to take some of the pressure off of him. However, the defense is going to queue up and blitz every play. I'd like to see them maybe run some sort of play action or something quick just to get the ball out of Moten's hands. Maybe catch the defense off guard.
Jalen Mitchell with the stop on the last play. 10 minutes to go. 14-0 Santa Barbara. 2nd and 12 LA Valley from their 50. They ran a screen play 2 plays ago. Faison Knight with a nice 10-yard run. See if they maybe go through the air again, as Luke's hoping to see. Shotgun snap. Moten looking downfield. Flag comes out. Throws to the 25 and incomplete. He was looking for Jameer Bryson in double coverage. Right on top of was Ryson Enholm. And Moten, it looks like, is on the ground at the 45. That flag, or not Moten, excuse me. Looks like going to be a chop block against LA Valley, so that'll move him back. And the injured Monarch on the play has now gotten up. It was Calvin Brown, who's listed as a defensive lineman, but playing on the offensive line tonight for LA Valley.
Brown's had a rough night. He's the one that actually drew that taunting penalty earlier in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he did.
So you can see playing out of position, maybe not the best fit for him.
So 45 yards of penalties on this possession alone, 30 of them against Santa Barbara. And now 15 against LA Valley will back them up to the 35-yard line. Their side of the field, they need to get it all the way to the 38 of Santa Barbara. 2nd down and 27.
Watch for something short and quick to just get one of their players on the perimeter in space.
So Moten with a 3-receiver set. Looking downfield, pocket collapses, and Moten driven into the ground at the 27. And flags come out at the end of it.
And R.J. Thorne in the middle of that scrum.
Yeah, after the play, it looked like on the sack it was Isaac Brown, the linebacker, breaking through out of Bakersfield.
arrows along with Jalen Mitchell. So we're going to have to see what this one is.
Pushing and shoving after the play, and so often it's not the guy who started it who gets the penalty. It's the guy who retaliates.
Oh, it seems like they got Thorne. That might have been the guy that started it. And that's also going to be a first down for LA Valley. Man, penalties on penalties on penalties on this drive.
Yeah, 45 yards of penalties against Santa Barbara. There was R.J. Thorne called for the personal foul penalty. And for LA Valley, it's an automatic first down. So even though they needed 27 yards for the first down, automatic first down here on the penalty. 1st and 10, LA Valley. From their 45, 9:15 to play, trailing 14-0. Moten takes a shotgun snap, quick throw on the near side and incomplete. Jeremiah Lorick. That ball was nowhere near him. 2 problems on the play. 1, the ball bounced 5 yards in front of Lorick, who had not even turned around yet. And 2, when they're using a guy who's thrown 4 passes all season long, no communication on that route there. Lorick didn't know when to turn around. Moten had no idea when Lorick was going to turn around. And as you can see there, just a complete breakdown on that pass attempt.
I'm surprised they're going with Moten here and not Clarence Williams, who hasn't played well in his opportunities, but he's gotten more experience, which is what you need.
2nd and 10, LA Valley from their 45. Moten out of the shotgun again, being chased out of the pocket, grabbed by the left arm and thrown into the ground. That was number 84, Bo Lopez. And another flag comes out at the end of this one.
Well, that sack was by Chandre Smith, number big 94. However, he ran into his own player and pushed him down, and then the official threw the flag. So if this is an unnecessary roughness against the LA Valley offensive line, then that is a horrible call. Holding might be another matter.
Well, we've already seen one bad call on this drive. Calvin Brown was called for a chop block while he was laying on the ground a few plays ago. So your guess is as good as mine.
I'm not sure anymore, Aaron. I have never seen a game quite like this.
So it'll be, well, let's make sure we get this right.
Because that chop block adds on to the sack.
It's a chop block on top of the sack. LA Valley needs to get to the 45. They are at the 23-yard line. So they need 28 yards. 3rd and 28 for the first down. They'll just run it conservatively up the middle. I think basically conceding the fact they're not going to come away with a first down here.
And I would say this would have to be the definition of a chippy game, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have 2 teams that have had disappointing turns to their seasons. LA Valley has lost 5 out of 6. Santa Barbara has lost 5 in a row. Each team with high expectations this year. 3-0 start for LA Valley, 3-1 for Santa Barbara. And, just frustrations getting the best of them right now in a game that has not been played particularly well by either side. But credit Santa Barbara as they've made a couple of big plays, which have them on top 14-0. Fair catch called for by Houston Little at the 39-yard line for Santa Barbara.
And we get off the field with no penalties there.
Yeah, 36-yard punt, no return, and looks like Santa Barbara will start cleanly there. So we had nearly 100 yards in penalties.
On one drive.
One drive alone, if you can believe that. So Santa Barbara, well, the goal for them is obvious. They don't need any more points. I would expect them to just keep it on the ground, chew up as much clock as possible. Just 8:05 to play, 14-0. Santa Barbara with the lead. They will begin at their 39. Hickson out of the gun. Nuoso in the backfield. No surprise, Nuoso gets the handoff, powers up the left side. And Nuoso pushing his way to the 42. It's a gain of 3. And Manny Nuoso, a touchdown to his credit tonight, went over 1,000 yards on the season. And now has 123 yards on the evening, his 6th game of the season, going over 100.
Well, now he's working on 1,100 yards in the season, boy, and you'd think he would get it the way they should be riding him the rest of the way. With almost 7:30 to go, and they're going to be running the play clock down to 5 or less on every snap. This drive might go down to sub-5.
Yeah, even on potential 3rd and long situations, I'd be surprised to see Santa Barbara put the ball through the air, risk an incompletion or a turnover. 2nd and 7 from their 42. Play clock down to 2. Hickson is got to snap it, pitches it left to Nwosu on the option. And Nwosu gets to the sideline, slips out of one tackle at the 45. He was grabbed by the ankles, able to jump out of it and pick up a couple more yards at the end of the play. He'll finally be marked down at the 48. It's a 6-yard run for Nwosu. It'll be a yard short of the first down, but sets up a third and a short one.
You know, he's just pushing through, slugging, running through tackles left and right, but it took all 310 pounds of Carlo Gentro, number 55, to just shove him out of bounds on that play, not even bring him down.
So a penalty on the ground against Santa Barbara. I missed the flag initially on the play, so that'll back him up 10 yards. That run never happened. That'll be second down and a long 17 for Santa Barbara at their 32, it looks like. So 7:05 and counting, though, and that's what really matters to Santa Barbara at this stage in the game, leading 14-0.
I would expect to see Manny Nwosu and plenty more of Manny Nwosu.
Nwosu is a couple yards behind Hickson, and Nwosu running left side. Nwosu up to the 37, 5 more yards for him.
And that's another 2 or 3 yards he picked up after contact. As soon as he gets hit, as long as it's hit high, he's still working through it. That is an amazingly tough runner.
So it'll be third down and 3rd down and 12, excuse me, for Santa Barbara. Need to get it to the 49. It looks like we'll have an injury timeout. There's an injured Santa Barbara Vaquero on the far side of the field. We'll step away for the injury. 6:38 to play, and Santa Barbara with the football leading 14-0 on SportsNetUSA.net. All games on SportsNetUSA.net brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Check out the alignment, brake, and oil change specials on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Thanks again, Miller Toyota of Anaheim.
Well, good timing there, Aaron, as we're coming back.
6:38 to play, 14-0 Santa Barbara, and trying to put the finishing touches on a victory would snap a 5-game losing streak for Santa Barbara, and LA Valley has lost 5 out of 6 and not putting up a good showing tonight. 3rd and 12 Santa Barbara at their 37. LA Valley needs a stop if they want to keep themselves in this game at all.
3rd down and 12.
And they will run it up the middle, and they will hand it to Cole Karuba, his first carry of the night. Just his 14th carry of the season, so Cole Karuba giving a little bit of rest to Nwosu, who has had an outstanding night tonight, 129 yards, rushing, and a touchdown. That one's good for 4. That'll be 4th and 8, and out comes Cody Haynes to punt this one away to LA Valley. Faison Knight, the lone return man, standing at his 20.
And this is pretty much the last chance here for the Monarchs. They need a big return from Knight, who's done it before. He has the speed, he has the athleticism. Now he needs to step up and make a play.
Longest punt of the night is 57 for Haynes. Faison Knight, a speedy wide receiver, will drop it at the 20-yard line, then has to fall on it at the 17. Fortunately, he was able to get that one back. We've seen muffed punts by both sides tonight in this game. Just a very sloppy game overall.
It has been a really sloppy game overall, and unfortunately, LA Valley just doesn't have the offense to compensate for when you set yourself back like this, and they haven't taken advantage of their special teams opportunities, because I really think there was a block kick to be had in there with all these low snaps.
And I think that has to be especially frustrating to head coach Matt White for LA Valley. He came up on the special teams unit under Robert Tucker for the last 2 seasons, actually played for Robert Tucker at the University of Sioux Falls, and he maintains special teams responsibilities for the Monarchs this year, and just as you mentioned, we've seen a couple issues tonight. 5:41 to play, 14-0 Santa Barbara, and LA Valley down to their last lives. 1st and 10 at their 18. They need 2 touchdowns to tie the game. That is shotgun snap. Emmanuel Moten on 1st down. Flags come out, and he was looking for Shante Smith in the flat. Overshot him. Houston Little in coverage, and a flag came out behind the line of scrimmage near where the ball was thrown from.
And that's going to be an offensive hold on. It's looking like number 77 for LA Valley.
It'll be Brendan Cortia Delgado.
Chevrolet Cadillac.
When you're backed up here on the 18, that's not 10. You're going to get half the distance to the goal, but
Well, just going backwards.
They just keep moving backwards.
Needing 10 yards is tough enough when you're being shut out in a ball game, but then you go backwards 5 yards, a little closer to the goal line.
Against the Monarchs, so a 9-yard
So
mark
first
off, back to the
and 19, LA Valley at their 9 after the hold is enforced half the distance to the goal.
going backwards on the
They run it with Shante Smith, run to the left side, he gets nothing, stop for a no gain. And,
Smith.
I know the passing game has basically been dreadful for LA Valley this season. You have a quarterback who's completed one pass the entire year, but with only a little over 5 minutes to go, trailing by 2 touchdowns, I think you got to take some shots downfield.
Oh, you have to. And this should be time for Kilavea Judd. You would have to think. I know we've been calling for him all night, but he is the best quarterback on this team. He's the one to take those shots down the field.
If you want to get downfield, I think he's the guy to do it. But Moten is the one out there now, 2nd and 19, LA Valley from their 9. They run it again with Shante Smith, and not surprisingly, Santa Barbara all over it. Loss of 2, back to the 7, and it's now going to be 3rd and 21 coming up.
You know, Aaron, this is the time, if you have any tricks left in the playbook, there's only 4.5 minutes left of this season. You have to have a couple scores. You got a trick play. You've got something special in the Hail Mary playbook. This is when you run it.
Well, no use saving it now, and looks like LA Valley's in no hurry to get to the line of scrimmage. At this point, they look like they're basically conceding the game. 4:20 to play, trailing by 2 touchdowns, and facing a 3rd and 21 from their own 8-yard line. 4th-string quarterback Emmanuel Moten in the game. Dawson Schick in the backfield. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Schick gets the handoff, and Schick is thrown all the way back into the end zone. Although forward progress should put him around the 5-yard line.
Yeah, that's a great call there by the officials. I know it looks like you see the running back get thrown back into the end zone, but his forward progress is going to take him forward. That's the spot they establish. You can pick him up and you could carry him into the end zone. Still not going to be a safety.
Yeah, so despite the pleas of the Santa Barbara defense, the ball will be spotted at the 5-yard line. It's a loss of 3 back to the 5-yard line. Juan Quezada out to punt, as he's had to do far too often tonight. Houston Little is the return man at the 40-yard line of LA Valley. That one nearly blocked, and Houston Little calls for a fair catch at the LA Valley 40. 3:24 on the clock, 14-0 Santa Barbara. And time to...
You know, Aaron, I'm not sure how number 23, Seth Flesher, didn't block that punt. He was right there.
Yeah, he was basically right on top of Juan Quezada, and it looked like almost a given he was going to block that. Could have resulted in at least a safety, if not a touchdown.
That is a gift-wrapped touchdown right there.
And Flesher probably kicking himself now, and he's going to have a long off season to remember that one, with no game coming up next week.
Well, he's got a chance to redeem himself right here because he is checking into the game, and they're at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Fletcher has been one of the secondary wide receivers, hasn't been targeted tonight. 1st and 10 Santa Barbara from the LA Valley 40. Play action, looking right side, and it is complete to Thomas Quinn, the backup tight end, standing at 6'3", 230, out of Redlands, California. So Cody Haynes, the starting tight end, has been punting all night long. Also caught a touchdown pass from Donald Lambert on a trick play tonight, and now it is time for Thomas Quinn to check in and have his I'd say fun in the sun, but it's pitch black and freezing out here tonight. 2nd and 4 for Santa Barbara at the LA Valley 34, and wisely letting the play clock wind down as far as possible. With 2:40 and counting in the game, 14-0 Santa Barbara. A shotgun snap on the ground. And Cole Karuba forward to the 29, and enough for the first down.
And, you know, it is interesting. Cole Karuba, he's doing well. The offensive line's getting the push. Where's Nwosu? Is he a little bit banged up, or are we just going to go ahead and let him enjoy the offseason now?
Yeah, well, I think this late in the game, knowing that, bowl game not at stake, probably Coach Meropoulos probably trying to reward some of the guys who work hard at practice, get them a little bit of playing time at the end of the season. And Nwosu has been the workhorse all season long. He's gotten the bulk of the carries. He got over 100 for the 6th time tonight, had his 9th rushing touchdown of the season. So time to get the other guys in. And Karuba with another carry. Karuba up the middle of the 25. That's a gain of 5 for Cole Karuba as we move inside of 2 minutes.
And he's going to finish the season as the leading rusher in the American Pacific Conference. So he's a sophomore. This should be his last game here at Santa Barbara, but what a way to put a stamp on that career.
Yeah, absolutely. Not sure where he's going to wind up next season, but best of luck to him at the 4-year level.
And best of luck to all the sophomores. It's sophomore night here at LA Valley, and you know, for a lot of these players, this is going to be the last game of their career, and hopefully some can move on, and we'll get to enjoy watching them going forward.
Right, LA Valley has had tremendous success moving guys on to the Division I level the last 2 seasons, and I haven't had the same number of signings this year. As Karuba up the middle again, and this time to the 22. It's been a 3-yard run. Minute 10 to go. And Santa Barbara just putting the finishing touches on what will be their 4th win of the season. So one more first down, and then Santa Barbara can just take a knee, run this clock out. And 14-0 Santa Barbara. Touchdown tonight. Manny Nwosu, a 1-yard touchdown run late in the second quarter. And in the third, Donald Lambert on a trick play took a pitch from the quarterback, Jerry Hickson, and then threw it to the tight end, Cody Haynes, in the back of the end zone. Double the lead to 14-0. LA Valley has really never threatened since that point, and gave it on the ground. Thomas Quinn one more time, and waiting to see if somebody called a timeout on the field. The scoreboard is stopped at 37 seconds for now, and it would seem an odd time for somebody to call a timeout. Though LA Valley does take a timeout before the 4th down play, so not really sure what that's all about, but LA Valley takes the timeout, and we'll have to wait a minute or 2 longer for the final snap or 2 of this game. But while we have a break in the action, just want to remind everybody listening at home to thank any veterans celebrating Veterans Day this weekend. I had 2 grandfathers serving in World War II, and I think about them a lot and the sacrifices that they had to make. One of them came home; he was shot in World War II. Didn't like to talk about it, so I learned pretty quickly not to ask him about it. When I would visit him as a child, but that stays with all the veterans, and they do things that most of us can never imagine doing, could never think about doing. So thank you once again to all our veterans. 4th and 2, Santa Barbara from the LA Valley 22. Snap to Hickson, and Hickson looking to pass. Doesn't see anything, and then is hit from behind as he is stopped shy of the first down marker. A couple of Monarchs there combining for the stop. It looked like 27 Tavares Howard, the linebacker, there to make the stop, and LA Valley is going to take over with just 31 seconds to go. They trail 14-0, and see whether they take a knee or maybe take 1 or 2 shots down the field. But for LA Valley, it's going to be a disappointing finish to the season, 4-6 on the year, and they have lost 6 out of their last 7 games. A promising 3-0 start went off the rails, and LA Valley, you got to figure, is going to go into complete rebuilding mode for next season. We talked to Jason Vandiver, the offensive coordinator, before the game, and he acknowledged that, they basically have to go out, try to recruit a quarterback, somebody they can stick with consistently. And Clarence Williams, our 4th quarterback of the night, is in the gun and is sacked back at the 20-yard line. It was Armando Meza Casillas, sophomore defensive lineman, 330 pounds, out of Salem, Oregon, capital city. Up north, 4-yard loss on the play. Flag comes out, 2nd and 14, LA Valley at their 20. And Williams rolling to the left side and looking for Matthew Mattingly. Along the sideline, skips into the turf, incomplete coverage on the play. Marshawn Davenport in the secondary. Clock has expired. The flag is on the field. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter.
For Matthew Mattingly, it's an offside against Santa Barbara City College. So they'll have one more play. You can't end the game on a defensive.
So neutral zone infraction against Santa Barbara. And, we were thinking it was hold against LA Valley when we said it didn't matter, the game was over. But can't end the game on an defensive penalty, so it would have been one untimed down, although LA Valley will tell the officials no need to do it, and that will bring this game to a close. 14-0, the final score. Santa Barbara over LA Valley, and the Monarchs come in their final game and get shut out at home tonight, just 2-3 in front of the home fans this season. And a very disappointing season for the Monarchs after winning 20 games over the last 2 seasons, 2 bowl wins. First time LA Valley had won a bowl game since 1996. Looked like the program had gotten on top, but as you learn, even harder than getting on top is staying on top. And LA Valley learned that, you become a target when you're at the top of the standings, and now have to go back to the drawing board, have to get back to basics, recruiting, redesign the playbook perhaps, and Matt White will be going into his second season, so opportunities for players and coaches alike to learn heading into next year. But for LA Valley, just a disappointing season, ending up at 4-6.
Yeah, Aaron, and the focus of this offseason has to be figuring out who is your quarterback going to be. Is that someone new, a freshman that you're going to recruit and bring in? Is that going to be developing someone that's already on the team? They have 4 to choose from. They're all freshmen. But what are they going to do? Because that was the theme of this season. The offense wasn't able to work because they didn't have a consistent leader to work behind. And that has to be the number one focus going forward.
Right, and more than just the execution, I think the skill players and the offensive line need to know that there's one guy out there that they can get into a rhythm with, in terms of timing, when to snap the ball, when a receiver's going to turn around on some of those timing routes, and just somebody that they can have confidence to go onto the field with and feel like, hey, we can put up a lot of points. But LA Valley in the final 5 games of the season, just 35 points, offensively, and that's just not going to get it done. So Jason Vandiver told us before the game that they are looking at bringing in a new set of quarterbacks this year out of the high school level that are going to recruit pretty hard. They have tremendous facilities around campus, certainly makes it an easier selling point. But my guess right now is that next year's quarterback is not on this roster.
I would have to agree, because when your final game of the season is at home against the last place team in the conference and you give up 14 points, that has to be a win. So you would think that they'll be recruiting and they'll be working to figure this out so they can get this offense on track. The defense and special teams are more than good enough to get the jobs done. Now it's about the offense.
Yeah, LA Valley's defense played pretty well this season. They gave up the 14 points tonight, but to be fair, the second touchdown came immediately after an interception, put the Monarchs deep in their own territory defensively, and took a trick play at that to get it done. The offense gave the defense no help throughout this season. Defense actually played pretty well. They ended up on the season with 12 interceptions, about 20 sacks on the year, had 3 defensive touchdowns as well, although actually all those came at the beginning of the season. But for LA Valley, obviously the offense is where the work is needed. Matt White will be going into his second year as a head coach, and I think he'll take a lot of learning experiences out of this one. But despite not being where they wanted to be in the standings, I still had a lot of fun working with you this season, and hopefully we'll be back next year and
I'm
hopefully see some more wins.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to another year of Monarchs football.
Yeah, so for Luke Hobbs, I'm Aaron Rosenberg saying good night for one final time from Monarch Stadium for the year. The final tonight, Santa Barbara 14, LA Valley nothing. LA Valley finishes the season 4-6 overall and 1-4 in the American Pacific Conference. Hope to catch you next season for Monarch football on sportsnetusa.net. Check into sportsnetusa.net for upcoming basketball broadcast schedules as well as college bowl games. Fullerton definitely will have at least one bowl game, so check that broadcast schedule. Hopefully it'll be updated in the next couple days. And a reminder that all games on sportsnetusa.net are brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Check out the alignment, brake, and oil change specials on the web at millertoyotaofanaheim.com. Located at the 91 in Euclid, Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Thanks again, Miller Toyota of Anaheim, and good night from Monarch Stadium.